Music has been a part of my life longer than games have. My family as a whole is a family of musicians. Some that play and sing at churches, some that put out their own projects, and some that tour and collaborate with other artists. In a way, I've done all three. I've played bass guitar at some of the churches that I've attended, and I might do so again at the next church I attend. I have my own rock music projects that I put together with my own vocals, bass, electric guitar. I use VSTs for drums and synths though, but you get my point. You might have heard some of that when I had those videos up on this channel once upon a time. I took them down because I second guessed myself and whether or not those had a place on this channel that's primarily gaming. But now I'm thinking, it doesn't really matter that much. This channel's a hobby, so I can do that. So at some point, I will have those videos back up along with some new music to put out there. So I'll probably just do that around the same time. Anyway, finally, I've also collaborated with some other musicians on different projects as well. Some small, some biggish. I'm talking about the projects and like just playing at different venues. I haven't I don't know, played with T-Pain or anything like that. I'm not talking about that kind of crazy. Anyway, my point in saying all of this is that even if I hadn't played the demo and the prologue versions of Unbeatable, the Give It a Whirl from way back when, I am already conditioned to vibe with it. So there's a bias. But even with that bias, I wasn't expecting the game to hit as hard as it did. Nor was I expecting the game to be as odd as it is. But I guess we can start there.
Never happened before.
Out of the gate, I'll just say that I love Unbeatable's story overall. It's punk in its attitude, it's aggressive, it's really funny in its lighter times, and it's really heavy in the others. If we're just talking about vibes, they do be immaculate. However, the pacing of Unbeatable's story is a different story, pun intended. The game has 6 episodes that take about an hour and a half to complete a pop, if you don't do side stuff. Each episode has its own location and place in the greater narrative, as stories do, or as they should. If you look at it like a TV show, the first episode is the pilot, the second episode is meeting the rest of the cast, the third episode is the come up, the rise, and the fourth episode is where shit hits the fan, the fifth episode gets weird, and the sixth episode gets, well, you're dealing with the weird by that point. Obviously, I'm not going into detail for spoiler reasons, but just trust me on the fact that this game's story goes to some places that I don't think you would think about in a game where making, performing, and listening to music is a crime. My issue with it all, if you couldn't tell, is how the game handles its pacing, story-wise. It's very much far from the worst I've ever seen, but sometimes the pacing feels tight, and other times it feels like it's speeding along too fast before you completely digested the last thing that was said or done. And sometimes you linger in a space for a little bit too long. Unfortunately, some of the typical storytelling pitfalls that can happen. In defense of the game, it has a tendency to lean on the rule of cool, most of the time. So you can suspend your disbelief just long enough to wonder why Beat can do some of the things she can do, despite being a regular human. There's also the fact that one of the antagonistic forces in the game, the Silence, is and isn't really explained. Like, thematically, I know exactly what they are, especially after I finished the story, just digesting it all and going, oh, I see that connects to here, and that, oh, I see what they did there. I had that moment. I get that. I'm just saying that if you're the kind of person who wants a story to spell it all out on the front page without you having to read the paragraphs underneath the headline, then that's not what this story does. But quite frankly, me going on about the pacing, the silence, and stuff like that is minimal compared to the amount of emotion, clever writing, and overall vibes that Unbeatable has. Which is why I chose to play the game to begin with. And I'm really glad I did. The story is messy, but as the character in the game puts it, and I'll paraphrase it here, messy is what makes us human. So in that sense, I think I can forgive the story's awkward pacing, its occasionally inconsistent character behaviors, and the like for what is ultimately a story full of heart. A story that still manages to get its point and the emotions behind it across, even though it's stumbling through its confession. It's a story that is unabashedly unbeatable, and probably the only one that could do it the way that it did. The amount of times I've teared up or have been on the verge of crying during this story is pretty high up there. The only reason I didn't allow myself to fully bawl during my playthrough of this game is because I needed to be able to see where the beats I had to hit were coming in, and I'd rather not have to look through teary eyes and putting up with a snotty nose while doing so. So congrats, D-Cell Games. You made me want to cry several times over. That doesn't happen often, and it certainly doesn't happen several times during a playthrough of any game very often. Also, that ending? Hell yeah.
Because sure, that's what matters. How do you know all this?
I learn things. And because I know this stuff, I know we should help.
You're gonna do this regardless of if I come along, aren't you?
Of course I am.
And you know I'm not comfortable physically restraining you.
Most adults wouldn't be.
But that means if I don't go along with this, you're going to be in danger. From cops. Because you're going to the cops. On purpose.
I think I'm ready to go if you are.
Hey, nice to meet you two. We're here because she wanted to rescue you. It's going really well.
Wow. You aren't very smart.
Visually, to go with the messy analogy, the game uses a mix of 2D and 3D styles. You've got your obvious anime influences that kind of remind me of Fooly Cooly. It has to be the color scheme of Beat, I guess. In the character designs, said characters interact with the 2D space in a 3D world, so like they don't really run diagonally. If they're running at a diagonal angle, they're running like they're running forward, that kind of thing. And the overall game has this very light, lo-fi VHS filter over it. It's a very unique style that I can't really get enough of and is probably up there with some of my favorite aesthetics I've seen in a game. The music goes hard. Need I say more?
Using proper rhythm, wiggle your fingers and jam the keys. A quick snap of the finger, and with practice, that's all there is to it. All there is to it.
You've got a blend of punk rock, pop rock, EDM, etc. in the main story alone, but in the game's arcade mode, you've got a wider, or at least seemingly wider, variety of music that you can tackle if you're up to that challenge or just want to vibe. I also love the various styles of cover art that are designed by different artists that invoke many different feelings. I know I'm just describing what a cover art should do when you look at it, but these are bangers, is all I'm really trying to say. I love the designs of each cover art in the arcade. So this probably comes as no shock to you, but I did buy the soundtrack to this game and will be listening to it casually. I'm sure it's on Spotify as well, but I wanted to kind of directly contribute by buying it on Bandcamp. So that's just the kind of person I am. It took a lot of yapping for me to get here, but let's talk about the gameplay. The bread and butter of Unbeatable's gameplay is, well, the rhythm. But don't worry if you're not good at rhythm games or simply ain't got rhythm. The game can be calibrated to help make up for that difference, and there are many difficulty settings that you can use. In my case, I chose the intended difficulty for the story, i.e. hard difficulty. But even the game basically says this is intended difficulty for us, it's what we like to play on. But you can play on what you want. We all gotta start from somewhere. And for a rhythm game, it's surprisingly varied in how it portrays the rhythm-based gameplay. Sometimes it will be a jam session or a concert. Other times you will be fighting cops to a chaotic beat. Other times you'll be mixing drinks and saving lives. And sometimes you'll even baseball. That's right, even you can baseball. All this game is really missing is a mini game where you can pet a dog or a cat to a rhythm. Now the gameplay itself, even on hard mode, isn't excessively difficult. You do need to lock in on hard mode, but with the exception of moments in the story where you're supposed to get overwhelmed, you'll have chances to try again in concert settings, or the game will just simply continue without any real detriment to you in more story-oriented sections. Speaking of story, you get plenty, and I mean plenty, of moments in the story to select what Beat can say. Now, every single time that you can, there's nothing really detrimental to what she says. It's all just stuff that comes across your mind that you could just pick for her. It's really just flavoring at the end of the day. And the real fun part is hearing how characters are going to react to her. That said, a lot of the characters will not pull their punches if you say something stupid regarding what they might think about what you just said.
You think so little of the police that you assume they can't do things on their own? The pink hair fits.
Now, I could go on and talk about more specific things, but for the sake of withholding spoilers and stuff like that, I think I'll just leave it at that. Unbeatable is a fantastic rhythm game that in a lot of ways is more than just simply a rhythm game where you go level to level. The story is very emotional, it's very impactful, even though it's a bit awkward at times. The gameplay is very engaging and very flexible, from the easiest I just want to vibe difficulty to the are you trying to kill me and my hands levels of difficulty. And I wouldn't have it any other way. That's a great spread of difficulty settings for people to pick from. There's also a really fun arcade mode where if you just want to jam and enjoy the game that way, then you could. You can see how high of a score you can get, and then some. And I think you can even unlock other characters. I started unlocking some stuff in there. I can't tell if it was characters or concept art. Either way around, I was down to look at it. I just didn't yet, but it's there. Whatever is there that you unlock in that mode is there. But arcade mode is genuinely also a lot of fun. Unbeatable gets a go for it from me and is available on Steam for $28. Also, you should definitely buy the soundtrack. If you don't want to buy the game, that's up to you. But that soundtrack is also really doggone nice. So buy it, see if it's on Spotify, etc. And that's the first review of 2026 down. This is looking like a relatively packed year for games with stuff like Resident Evil 9, Wolverine, Crimson Desert, Tomb Raider, Legacy of Atlantis, GTA 6, and the like dropping, so hopefully you all are excited about it as much as I am. There will be a Resident Evil 9 review when that drops, but it probably won't be up until the following month since it drops at an awkward time for me. We'll see. As for Silksong, I did beat it recently and got what I consider the normal ending, I think it is, but I'm currently going through the game again, not all over again, but I'm going over what I have left over in the game with some directional help from my brother and some online guide so I can get there with some expedience. I believe I got the true ending in the first Hollow Knight, so I didn't feel comfortable just making a review for Silksong without getting one for Silksong as well. And don't worry, no, I'm not looking at these guides like, okay, tell me every single step. I'm just trying to see what did I already do and what is left over, so I'm not running through hallways all day looking for one specific little thing. I'm avoiding anything that can feel spoilery. I just needed a bit of guidance. But expect the review for Silksong whenever that is up. Hopefully sooner rather than later. So I hope you all have enjoyed your stay. I'm TUSDarryl, and I'll catch you all later.